So there has been an update in the Kelly Bryant case. Kelly Bryant is a mother, and I use that term very loosely. A mother out of Pontiac, Michigan. Back in 2025, she was arrested for abandoning her children. She basically neglected them in a home she was renting. She has three children, 2 girls, 1 boy, and she left them there for years at a time. She would drop off food or have food delivered, but she did not give them any affection, any significant time. She didn't care for them. The house was a mess. Feces, trash, no hygiene products, unkept hair, unkept everything. They were just fending for themselves while she lived her best life on social media, posing on social media pictures like she got her life together. No mentions of her children. She lied to family and friends about where her children were. And the reason why we know what happened to her children is because allegedly her landlord at the time hadn't received rent in a while, hadn't heard from her, and so he requested a wellness check. So the police, went in there and they found the children, and now we're here. The rest is history. I think she's out on bond right now, which is a shame to me, but she is out on bond, and her last court date, she overslept. She didn't go. She had her attorney go for her. So the article that I found says, Judge terminates parental rights of Pontiac mom who abandoned the children. Carrie Burke, the Detroit News. I will leave the link to this article in the description. So it says, when Kelly Bryant left her kids alone in a rental home, her oldest daughter said Bryant told them she'd be right back and not to open the door for anyone, an Oakland County judge said Monday. That was more than 3 years before the children were found February 14th, 2025, living alone in a Pontiac home filled with cobwebs, trash, and feces. A home so filthy that evidence technicians needed to wear hazmat suits and gas masks, the Oakland County Sheriff's Office said. They were 12, 13, and 15 years old at the time. Oakland County Circuit Court Judge Lisa Langton found September that there were statutory grounds to end Bryant's parental rights, and at a Monday hearing ruled that it was in the child's best interest to terminate her rights. The judge said that the children do not have a bond with their mother. There's no indication Bryant can provide a sense of stability or permanency that the children need. Langdon said Bryant continues to show callous disregard for the conditions she left these children in. Mom, at this point, is still unable to provide a safe home. As far as we know, she's still struggling with substance abuse. I don't know if she has a job. I know she hasn't provided any financial support for the children. She doesn't have a suitable home, and the bond of the child has diminished over time, Langdon said Monday. Bryant did not attend hearing Monday. She told her attorney she had overslept and was going to get an evaluation at the Crisis Service Agency, Common Ground. Attorney Cecilia Corindongo Bonso said Bryant has been out on bond while her case is pending. She's interestingly today, the day of this hearing, decided that she's going to go to Common Ground and try to get an evaluation, Langdon said. I don't know if she's getting one. I don't know if there's going to be any intervention, but this is an important hearing and Mom's not here. Her absence here today speaks volumes. The children who now live with their maternal grandfather reported Bryant would drop off food about once a week but had not given them hygiene or cleaning products in years. They were found in soiled clothing, their hair was matted, and their toenails were several inches long, making it hard for them to walk. Police said the children did not know how to use personal hygiene items or how to flush a toilet. Bryant already faces separate criminal charges for allegedly abandoning her children. She'll stand trial on 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, which is punishable by up to life in prison, and 3 counts of welfare fraud, which carry up to 4 years in prison. Prosecutors said she allegedly continued to collect public assistance for the children after abandoning them. Bryant pleaded no contest to the welfare fraud charges in February, but because her attorney raised concerns that there might be a problem with her mental capacity to stand trial, the sentencing set for March was delayed. In order to stand trial in Michigan, a person must have an appropriate level of mental capacity and must be able to assist in their own defense. Bryant has a competency hearing set for May 27th. Even before Bryant allegedly abandoned her kids, her oldest child said she was disinterested in them and their situation was pretty much the same. Assistant prosecutor Kanika Ferenczi said, adding that several years of neglect is not a temporary lapse of judgment. This was not a dirty house on one bad day. This was not poverty, Ferenczi said. This was years of abandonment and profound neglect on the part of respondent mother for nearly 4 years. These children were left without meaningful parental care. This was not parenting. This was abandonment. Corindongo Bonso argued that the youngest son, who was in his dad's custody while the 3 older children were living alone, was not harmed and has had a relationship with his mother. But Langston said Bryant had very little contact with this child. She has shown no ability to care for him, and any bond she has with him is minimal at best. Corindongo Bonso said in the case of the 3 older children, because of the court's no contact order, there have been no services to attempt to reunify the family, and there has been no observed interactions or communications between the children and Bryant. Because the courts are trying to reunify the children with their biological father, who has not seen the kids in years, Corindongo Bonso said the same should be allowed for Bryant. The children's lawyer, guardian ad litem Charles Farrar, said 3 key factors point to termination being the right choice. He said they include Bryant's lies to the children's father and grandfather about their whereabouts, the stark contrast between Bryant's hygiene and health compared with the children's that was pointed out by Oakland County Sheriff's Office detective, and the fact that she was more concerned about a smoke alarm at the home where the children lived creating problems for her instead of the welfare for her children. This compels the court to conclude this was not a momentary lapse. This was something akin to intention to advance her best interests at the distinct and knowing cost of her children's welfare. Farrar said, I don't know if there's any evidence offered at any of these hearings that the mother ever exerted any kind of positive or beneficial relationship on the minor children. Bryant was arrested after her landlord called police for a welfare check at the home because he hadn't heard from her and she had not paid rent in months. So that article was by Kara Berg of the Detroit News, and that was published April 13th, 2026, 3:30 p.m. to be exact, Eastern Time. So my opinion on this is that about time. I am so happy that her parental rights were terminated. The evidence is there. Anybody who tries to argue different is delusional, insane, and they're not in touch with reality, and they do not care about children because all the evidence is there. All signs point to terminate. She didn't show no interest in the children. She abandoned them for extended periods of time. She lied to everyone. She basically lived a double life. She was a narcissist, in my opinion. She would be on social media all dolled up, going out. She had a boyfriend. She lived at another address separate from the children, and her place of stay, as far as we know, was not trashed. It was a livable situation she was in, and everyone around her didn't suspect a thing. She lived a complete double life. It's as if she wanted to be a single woman, not a single mom. You feel me? So it's almost as if she wanted to punish the fathers or punish the family, like, oh, well, you're not helping me, or, you don't want to do things my way, then you're not going to get to see the children. Because if she really cared about the kids, she would have dropped them off to the father or the family of the father or her parents or her family. She wanted to hide the children from the world. It's as if she wanted to punish everyone from seeing them. It was like, I want to be able to do it all. I want to have children. I want to claim to be a mother while not really being a mother and living my best life. Like, if you look in the dictionary for the word selfish and narcissist, she is going to be one of the people up top. I don't understand how she was able to have bond. She should still be in jail right now. I'm about to be dramatic in what I say, but to me, it was basically almost attempted murder. She did just enough to keep them alive, but not enough to really sustain them. They could have really got injured in that house. And that's why she was only worried about the smoke detector, because if a fire happened and they can hear and nothing was helping them, her secret would be outed. She only cared about the smoke detector because she did not want to be outed. She didn't want anything to mess up her lie, her fake life. She wanted to hide her abuse forever. She never intended to get these children help. She never intended to get help herself. I feel like she knew it wasn't going to last long, and she was just like, F it. Instead of saying, man, I've been doing this for a long time. Let me ask for help. Let me really ask for help. She decided, or whatever happened to her, she decided not to pay rent anymore. And that's what happened. She just said, F it. She couldn't sustain the abuse and the facade, the fake, the mask wearing for that long. I don't know how it went on that long. But can you imagine how many other children are living in this exact kind of situation? you hear about it way too much. I don't know anybody personally in my life that has ever lived to that extreme. So sometimes you see the news and it seems like it's happening everywhere, but it makes the news because it's such a wild story. You can't believe that stuff like this is actually going on in America, in the United States. Like the judges noted and other people noted, it wasn't about poverty or mental health because she knew how to fake the funk. She knew how to clean herself up. She knew how to take a shower. She knew to get makeup on. She knew how to do her hair, because if she was really suffering from mental illness that bad, she would have been in the mess with the children, in the thick of it with them. I do feel like it is mental health. Normal people do not do these things to their children. So it is mental health. But she had mental health issues, yet she did have the ability to know right from wrong. She knew the resources, but she chose not to. So it is mental health, but it didn't cripple her entire life. But she knew how to play the game, how to be fake, how to pretend. She was intentional. So I believe that having her rights terminated is the best thing. Whenever she's sentenced, whenever the trial is or whatever the plea bargain is, she should serve time in prison. There was another Michigan mother who has already been sentenced, and their stories are identical. I don't know how to say the lady first name, but it's T. Johnson, another woman out of Pontiac area, Michigan, okay? She abandoned her children for months at a time. And the only reason why we know about it is because I think one of the daughters was afraid that someone was breaking in. I think she heard a strange sound or a loud sound. She called 911. The police came to investigate, and that's how they found out that the children were abandoned. T. Johnson abandoned 3 of her children, and Kelly Bryant abandoned 3 of her children in the same area. Like, it's really weird to me, y'all. Like, I feel like I'm in a twilight zone. Did these women know each other? It happened all around the same time. But like I said, one is different. One was abusing their children or neglecting them for years, one for months. Either way, they were being left and barely being fed. And they all was living a lie, looking normal in public, but hiding what a monster they are in private. Classic narcissists. To be raised by a narcissistic mother, have a narcissistic mother is a painful experience. You have some who are, I think narcissism is on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? You have some mothers who will just like abuse you enough where it's not going to raise too many red flags. People would never think because they smile in your face and their children look okay, right? And you have some parents where the children look horrible or you don't even see the children at all because they're being abused and hidden. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to narcissistic mothers. And these 2 mothers, Kelly Bryant and T. Johnson, are to the extreme. Like, we understand motherhood is hard. Being a single mother is hard. But you have options. You have so many options. I don't care what you say. Our support system can suck sometimes. Drop the children off at a fire station. Drop the children off to a trusted family or friend. If you really care about the children, you will make sure that if you can't take care of them, that somebody else can and will. But you're so selfish that you don't want to reach out for help, even if it's to benefit your children. You dislike your children so much that you can't have the pride and the dignity and the love for them to ask for help. And I also hope that T. Johnson's parental rights will be terminated. Because if Kelly Bryant did exactly the same thing and she lost her parental rights, T. Johnson should as well. Because she is going to be in prison for 10 to 20 years. Who knows when she's going to get out? And if she gets out, she shouldn't have contact with the children, to me, even when they're adults. She's going to most likely get out when they're adults. I don't know the exact ages of the children right now, but they're young and some will be 18 and stuff when she gets out. Both women should not be allowed. To me, there should be some type of restraining order for even when they turn adults. And obviously adults can do whatever they want to, but I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, you're so impressionable. These children are probably, some of them might possibly open to having a relationship with this woman because like, oh, that's my mother. That's, you know, you only get one mom. You know, some people are brainwashed to be like, oh, you only get one mom. Love your mom forever. Forgive them for everything. Not enough of us was taught that you don't have to tolerate abuse. You don't have to live with your abuser. You don't have to continue to have a relationship with your abuser. A lot of us were groomed to be loyal to dysfunction and abuse. And I hope all 6 children in this situation between Kelly Bryant and T. Johnson, I hope these children never contact these women, never get them a chance to hurt them again. Because when somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. I don't care if they're your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. Teach people how to treat you. Because if they did it before, they'll do it again. And they might just be real slick about it next time. People have a right to choose who they want to have in their lives. Right? But I feel like you have to respect yourself too much for people to mess with you again. Like you got me before, you got me before, you got me before, but you can't get me again. Like truly, once you know better, you do better. But I totally understand why the children might want to be in their mom's lives, even if they're trash, because of just the way they are groomed. Some people are truly religious. They believe that you should honor your mother and your father. And just Stockholm syndrome. There's so many things that go behind wanting to still have a relationship with your parent. You hope they'll change. You know, like, oh my gosh, this is the person that gave birth to me. How can I not have a relationship with them? They're all I know. I get it. I get it. Sometimes you got to have people in doses, like in small amounts, you know. But we made the choices in our lives. But some people are not worth giving a second chance. And the court got this right. Any parent who does their children the way Kelly Bryant did her children, they don't deserve the title as parent. They don't. They were just a donor. She donated her womb to these children, but she's not a mother. I don't know what happened in her childhood, but I bet your bottom dollar there was some dysfunction. I bet your bottom dollar there was some type of dysfunction going on in that household. And if the grandfather is honest, he would get some help because he's taking care of these children. And something in his household translated to his daughter. I don't care what nobody say. She somewhere in her life made her normalize that kind of behavior.